Welcome back, everybody. Aga Swiecki here from SKG. And today I have a very interesting subject for you, and that is judgment. So I called this wellness talk, How Judgmental Are You Really? Because this is something that is not often talked about, whether it's self-judgment or it's judgment towards other people. And I think it's really important, especially now after we talked about so many different interesting subjects in the new year, to focus on this. So when it comes to judgment, and if you're listening to this, by the way, and thinking, I've done programs, I've coached, I've done all these things, I'm not a judgmental person, you're lying to yourself. We are human and therefore we judge. This is just what we do. This is one of the tools that the brain uses to navigate the world. We judge. But what I really want to focus on today is, and by the way, judgment, not necessarily in just words, not just what I say, but also what shows up on my face, my body language, my tone of voice. Just the tone of voice can make so much damage to the other person and actually, yourself too. And as well as energy. So all of it. Okay, so that's judgment. And the reason why we're talking about it, not necessarily that it shows up, of course it shows up for everybody, but when we feel the need to actually express it and show it to the other person or ourselves, if we're judging ourselves. So the awareness, right? The awareness around especially things like, am I expressing the judgment towards other people because I am protecting myself emotionally? Maybe I feel insecure about something, not good enough, not worthy enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not successful enough, whatever it may be, right? And then finally, when my ego kicks in. So if any of these three things show up for you, you know that there's some work to do, because judgment really is one of the biggest teachers. So when we feel it, it's okay. But when we feel the need to express it, it's a different story, because it exposes to us the work that we have to do on ourselves. Okay, so watch these three situations when they show up. So now we have to be aware of how judgment affects us and our energy, as well as how it affects the other person. It doesn't feel good. It really doesn't feel good, right? We all want to feel accepted. We all want to feel loved. We all want to feel like we're enough. So in order to diffuse it, when you feel it and you feel the need or the urge to actually say it or express it on your body language, number one is to remember to provide a safe space for yourself and the other person to be exactly who they are and express what they have to say, even if it's an opinion completely different than yours, maybe opposing yours. We don't have to agree. This is not the goal. It's okay to disagree. Totally okay. It's actually is a measure of an evolved human being, how well we can honor the other person when they have the opposing view. So creating a safe space for that. That's number one. Number two, silence, when to not talk. And sometimes that's really hard for some of us, right? So when not to talk, when to allow the other person to simply, that goes with the safe space, finish their story, say what they have to say what's on their heart. And number three, questions are really powerful in diffusing judgment. How do you feel about it? What did you think? Why did you make that decision? How did that affect you? What did you do to inspire yourself or motivate yourself to go through this challenging period of your life, right? It invites the other person to tell us more, but it doesn't say, well, why did you do that? It's the powerful, open, great, loving questions that do the trick. And then the most important one is being present. So the more present you are, of course, the more present you are, the more you actually know and see where these things show up, when judgment wants to come out, and what is behind it. There's always something behind it, because we naturally don't want to feel like this. We don't want to feel bad, and we don't want to make the other person feel bad, right? So if this shows up, there's something underneath. There is a work to be done. And the more present we are, the more we actually know what that is. Is it insecurity? Right? Because I don't feel good about myself. Is it my ego that kicks in? Or is it simply me protecting myself emotionally, or a bunch of other reasons? But I will know, right? So now the biggest question that I want to leave you with is, when you start getting the awareness or gaining the awareness around it, and You start to realize when judgment wants to come out, when you want to say something, when you want to show it on your face, whether it's in your tone of voice. The best way to actually know what's happening is to ask a question. Is this, me saying this, me showing this, is this bringing value? Is this creating anything valuable for another person, me, the world, whatever it may be, right? Is it creative or is it destructive? And that's all you need to know. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.